We hope you had an exciting time with us on this edition. Join us on Power Wheel same time next week. Until then, you can watch our episodes via our YouTube channel and as well reach us through these other platforms showing on your screen. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. Bye for now.
Yes, it be like say they want to tell another story again. Now they say are superstars, and those people where they go vote for the candidate of their choice without violence. So for these upcoming elections, be my superstar. Vote, no fights.
Firo House, Africa's first industrial TV reality show, is calling you for auditions that will qualify you to be part of the first Naira by shift skills and how technological savvy you are to the world. Come and open new doors of opportunities for your future. Anambra auditions.
5th to 6th of October 2018.
Venue NTA Oka, Kilometer 1, Enugu Agidi Road. Time 10 a.m. Kano auditions.
9th to 10th of October 2018.
Zonal Office 1, KMC along Sharada Road, adjacent AA Renault Filling Station, Sharada Phase 1, Kano. Time 10 a.m. Please come to the audition venue with your payment slips. Africa's first industrial reality TV show, Firo House. You have to be a part of it.
Zuma Film Festival 2018 Abuja. Theme, Archiving for Creativity. Date, December 1st to 7th, 2018. Featuring film screenings, masterclasses, special tributes, NFC Annual Film Lecture, NFC Annual Essay Competition Awards, special national and state days, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and Zuma Film Festival 2018 Awards. Submission of entries for non-competition, competition and screening is ongoing and closes September 30th, 2018. All entries should be forwarded to the festival director, Zuma Film Festival Nigerian Film Corporation, headquarters in Jos, and or its zonal offices in Abia, Lagos, Kano, Asaba, Yola, and Abuja, or through the Film Freeway online platform www.filmfreeway.com. For further inquiries, call 0033146842, 08052728321, or 08063390420, or visit the website www.zumafilmfest.gov.ng. Zuma Film Festival 2018, December 1st to 7th, Abuja, Nigerian's foremost film festival.
Nigerians, due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national in the sports parliament, the NTA insight on
in school sports. It is the bedrock.
And because the fact that this was played on broadcaster, in fact, it's so high.
Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA Thursdays.
Hello, night for the news. On my program, it's up. You know, after the primaries, governance is back in council. Its assembly is in plenary budget. Tonight, there's much happening in elections. Just last week, with the delivery of his victim, else is new. All the situations, some best stories on health. You know how, so sit, let it be to bring, and this is News Extra. On the minimum wage, Minister of Employment, Dr. While briefing journalists by a has remained the
beginning of the federal government, minimum wage time soon. A pronouncement reached on the new over by President Muhammadu Buhari after the meeting. The cardinal mechanism
and came down to adjust their figures. From the federal government had a figure of 1,000. From the different states, continuing to discuss informally to see if we can arrive at a common figure.
The minister said although the Buhari administration is desirous of giving Nigerian workers a living wage, it cannot, however, agree to decisions that will lead to any job loss.
You don't hoist on somebody an agreement you cannot implement. You don't make a law that people find difficult to implement. So if the local governments and the states are saying, we are not capable, we cannot carry this, you can hoist it on them. This government doesn't want any retrenchment. And Mr. President, I've always reiterated it that no worker should be retrenched for as long as this administration is on. No worker will be denied his promotion for as long as this position is on.
The council, however, approved a 5.2 billion naira contract for the construction of Kajiji, Jabo, Guraye, Takwache Road in Sokoto State.
This is a 28.75 kilometer road joining Sokoto and Zamfara states. It is in a very good agricultural zone. We'll be able to ferry goods, agricultural goods, human traffic between these two states and onto the neighboring countries of Niger and Benin Republic.
In the meantime, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bosgida Mustafa, has formally presented to President Muhammadu Buhari a compendium on the status of implementation of the monumental policies, programs and projects approved by the Federal Executive Council and executed by MDAs from May 2015 to the end of 2017.
The 1,042-page document is a valid and vivid proof of the giant strides recorded by this administration under the focus and purposeful leadership of Your Excellency. The pictures therein speak louder than words. Indeed, the documentation belies the false perception in the public space planted by our political opponents that not so much has been recorded by this administration in project implementation. We expect more of such falsehood to continue with intensity. This documentation is our answer to them.
The historic documentation is indeed an evaluation of the Buhari administration, whose outcome is not only exciting but quite revealing. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Still staying with President Muhammadu Buhari, the Progressives Governors Forum has restated its confidence in the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari and promised to work assiduously towards the renewal of his mandate in 2019. Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, stated this after leading some members on a solidarity visit to the president. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
Members of the Progressives Governors Forum were in the State House to formally congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari following his unanimous endorsement by the governing APC as candidate for the 2019 presidential election. During the solidarity visit, however, a strategic meeting was held behind closed doors where issues relating to the conduct of the last primary elections by the party were discussed, so also the forthcoming general elections. After the meeting, which lasted over 1 hour, Governor Rochas Okorocha assured the nation that APC remains a party to beat in 2019.
And we have come to request from Mr. President for the dates, for the governors to come together with our followers and supporters to further inform the world of our readiness to deliver him the 2019 election. Our election this time will not engage castigations or talking. We'll be talking on issues Nigerians are tired of political abuses. What we want to be talking about is issues and track records of people involved in our elections. Nigerians are very wise now. Before they elect anybody, they will ask questions. What has been your track record? Who were you before and who are you now? And everything about you. And for that reason, we are confident that 2019, APC will put through.
We are a government that has credibly performed. This campaign will be driven by issues. This campaign must be predicated on what you are able to bring to the table for the people of Nigeria. It's not going to be a noisy campaign. Anybody that is preparing for noise should be prepared to receive defeat in February of 2019.
Governor Rochas Okorocha said the meeting also took a decision on the unhealthy relationship amongst APC family members in some states as a fallout from the just concluded party primaries.
In every democracy, you expect some kind of disagreement, and we have kindly requested that something be done to bring all warring factions together so we can have a united party to face the challenges ahead. What is important to us is that we must never go into this battle a divided family. And we want to make sure that all governors are intact, all National Assembly members are intact while going to this battle. We'll never speak differently. We'll speak as united leaders of the party.
We are one big family, and in a contest, there are bound to be winners and losers. But in the spirit of the game of politics, which is like any other sport, after the game is over, whoever has emerged victorious, he must be magnanimous and gracious in his victory. And whoever has lost out should also accept it in the spirit of sportsmanship.
The APC governors expressed the belief that with President Muhammadu Buhari as presidential candidate of the party, victory is assured in 2019. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And still talking politics, the All Progressives Congress says, in the spirit of due compliance with the law, it will present candidates for governorship, National Assembly and State Assembly elections in Zamfara State for the 2019 general elections before the deadline for submission of such names. In a letter to the Independent National Electoral Commission signed by the National Chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, decried claim by INEC that no primaries were conducted by the party in Zamfara State. Comrade Oshomole says, following the high level of friction, disagreements and threatened violence by various political camps before the primaries, all aspirants met at City King Hotel in Gusau, where consensus was reached and a list of candidates was affirmed by all delegates present in strict compliance with Section 87, subsection 6 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. The Buhari Osinbajo Mandate Group says the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari from takeoff has been piloting the economy of the nation with a focus towards development. The result, which is glaring for everybody to see, especially in its inclusive nature, affecting all fabrics of the society. In this direction, the political group therefore says it is incumbent on it to champion the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari, not only for his qualification to come back for a second term, but also to ensure that Nigeria attain functional development with sustainability towards a greater future. Political correspondent Salihu Abdullahi tells us more.
Buhari Osinbajo Mandate Group is a movement that is in the forefront of the vanguard for the actualization and revalidation of the mandate of the people for President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The group believed that the administration's scorecard in all-round development and its plan to restore the nation's greatness informed people's support and trust to the present administration for better days ahead.
He has paid salaries. He has put Mambila Power Project on track. All our roads that have been barred from time immemorial, the president have started putting them together. Some of them are okay now, as you all can see. So this is why we have come together to tell the world that there is a need for us to support the president.
We cried for a long time for a second Niger bridge.
that never came. It is only President Muhammad Buhari that has come to actualize it. So any wise person, any reasonable person from the Southeast must support President Muhammad Buhari to complete the good work he has started for this country.
In demonstration of its commitment, the Buhari Osinbajo Mandate Group had championed a course of robust relationship with the electorate across the country and to make them abreast of the government's veritable development stride as imperative for them to ensure re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari towards ensuring the future of the country and the succeeding generation. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
We're not done with politics yet. Even though it has held successful primaries to determine candidates, the All Progressives Congress in Nasarawa State is saying it is not over until it is all over by 2019 after the general elections. For them in Nasarawa State, voting in President Buhari and other candidates that will work with him is a task that must be done. From Lafia, Joshua Ojito reports that at the state level and in line with democratic norms, the party leadership and followership are also united in the prospects of consolidating 8 years of Governor Al Makura's administration. Joshua, let's hear you.
In addition to being the home of solid minerals because of vast opportunities, Nasarawa State also has the appellation as political laboratory of President Buhari. Recall, before the merger of political parties to form the APC, Nasarawa State stood by the CPC and its people overwhelmingly supported the president and chose Umaru Tanko Al-Makura as the third executive governor. Over the years, the much talked about democracy dividends is not a subject matter of rhetoric. There are concrete evidence government has gone to work in changing the fortunes for the benefit of all across infrastructure, commerce, agriculture, rural development, and promoting social welfare programs. Based on fulfilled mandates, it was not difficult asking the people to renew their confidence and give the administration at the federal and state levels another opportunity to serve the fatherland. From the presidential and governorship as well as national and state assemblies, aspirants jostled to fly the APC ticket. President Buhari is again given the mandate, including the governor who will contest for the Nasarawa South Senatorial Zone. As leader of the party in the state, Governor Al-Makura and other stakeholders have lived up to expectations of ensuring that all that starts well ends well. But as with every season of elections, there were permutations and consultations as well as disagreements among the political gladiators. But what even strikes more happiness among stakeholders is the reaffirmation of deepening the democratic process by Governor Al-Makura and his longtime political associate, Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
What we expect is success, a track of successes from the presidential right down to the State House of Assembly. This is because for us in Nasarawa, me and the Senator, we are on the same page. And that is to the admiration of all our supporters. I make bold to say that we are working together as brothers, as friends, as people with the same objective and destiny.
I came here essentially to congratulate him on two fronts. One, for his success, having now been elected or nominated to be the flag bearer for the senatorial seat, and secondly, for his ability to manage the primaries.
Every one of us is a winner as far as this exercise is concerned.
As President Muhammadu Buhari has said, winners should show grace in victory instead of mocking the losers, as such action is capable of destroying party unity and cohesion. And there is total understanding of this among the people of Nasarawa State. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
A High Court in Port Harcourt has nullified the nomination of Tonyek Cole as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC in Rivers State on the ground that his nomination is a function of illegality and unconstitutional act. The court also nullified the Rivers State APC Senatorial, House of Representatives and House of Assembly primaries conducted on the premise of the illegal ward congresses. The High Court further nullified all the elections of Rivers APC ward executives, local government executives and state executives committee that arose from the illegal ward congresses. In a judgment delivered by Justice Chinwedu Nwogu, the court declared that the ward congresses of Rivers APC were illegal because they were not conducted in line with the APC guidelines and constitution. Following the judgment, the APC no longer has a candidate for the governorship, Senate, House of Representatives, House of Assembly elections and the forthcoming 2019 general elections. Meanwhile, the governorship candidate and senator representing Rivers Southeast District, Magnus Abbey, has called on the APC members in Rivers State to remain resolute and committed to the party. Timely approval and release of funding to the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC remains a significant measure towards ensuring free, fair and credible elections. That is why President Muhammadu Buhari has for the second time written to the Senate requesting the approval of 242.4 billion naira vermin in the 2018 budget for the 2019 general elections. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
To ensure
Senate President Bukola Saraki read the request from Mr. President.
I therefore wish to formally request that the total amount of 242,445,322,600 naira requested by INEC and the security agencies be considered for inclusion in my vehement request under the 2018 Appropriation Act.
The request was referred to the Senate Committee on Appropriation. Electoral matters continued on the floor as the bill seeking to amend the Independent National Electoral Commission Act of 2010 was passed at second reading. Senator Suleiman Nazif from Bauchi North sponsored the bill, and there was divergent views on the proposed amendment.
Election expenses shall not exceed the sum stipulated in subsection 2 to 7, 5 billion naira for presidential elections. Section 91.3, 1 billion naira for governorship.
Section 5.2, no individual or entity shall donate to a candidate more than 10 million naira. I don't see the logic in that, Mr. President. So long as the entity or the individual earns his money legitimately.
Prior to election time, with the stated time, the sample of the ballot paper should be availed to the various political parties.
INEC observe those two primaries. Who takes a decision? I think this area should be expunged and allow the party to take a decision who becomes their candidate.
Noteworthy to mention that all issues raised by Mr. President, ranging from election sequence down to cross-referencing error, shall be addressed. When are they going to be addressed?
All the issues that have been raised have been addressed, and then we bring it back to the plenary for third reading.
The Senate also urged security agencies to intensify efforts towards finding Major General Alkali and other missing persons in Nigeria, as moved in a motion by Senator Mohammed Hassan from Yobe State.
Urge the federal government to set up an investigative panel of inquiries to A, examine and determine the remote and immediate circumstances surrounding the dumping of cars in the ponds in the Jew district.
Very unfortunate and regrettable that soldiers die in the course of their duty within Nigeria.
Reports of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Financial Institutions on the confirmation of the nomination of Banire Adeyemi as chairman, governing board of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, and Fola Shodun Adebisi Shonobi as deputy governor of Central Bank of Nigeria were considered and approved, presented by Senator Rafiu Ibrahim 2 senators who won the recently conducted by-elections were sworn in. Baba Keita of the All Progressives Congress from Katsina North. He replaces the late Mustafa Madawaki and Senator Lawal Yahaya Gumau, also of the All Progressives Congress from Bauchi South, who replaces late Senator Ali Wakil from the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo.
Still staying with the National Assembly, the Senate Committee on Appropriations has, in a swift response, approved INEC's budget for the 2019 general elections in line with the presidential request. National Assembly correspondent Omotola Omojola reports.
The committee approved the sum of 189,207,544,893 naira for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. This amount is part of a total funding requirement of a little over 242 billion naira for INEC and security agencies for the 2019 general elections.
We have said today, we have considered the request, Mr. President, and as far as the INEC aspect is concerned, we are granting his request for both 2018 and 2019 to be reflected, and then the 2018 budget will be amended to accommodate that amount Mr. President requested, which is 189,207,544,803 naira.
The committee, however, announced that it will meet with chief executives of security agencies to defend their budget as it relates to the 2019 elections on Thursday, October 11, 2019, before dissolving into an executive session to deliberate more on source of funding. From the National Assembly, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
At the House of Representatives plenary, the presidential request for the Independent National Electoral Commission budget for 2019 elections was top on the agenda with a view to ensuring a hitch-free conduct of 2019 general elections. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has details of these and other proceedings at the plenary.
Yours sincerely, President Muhammadu Buhari.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara reading out the presidential request, which fundamentally dwells on INEC's budget for security agencies for the 2019 general elections. It is among the communications from President Muhammadu Buhari to the House of Representatives received during its periodic recess. The Speaker reaffirmed the resolve of lawmakers to remain loyal to the nation and promised expeditious consideration of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill in the budget for 2019 general elections. Besides election matters, the requests included a statutory budget proposal for the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) for 2018, and that of consideration and passage of a bill for the establishment of Nigeria Police Academy.
As we enter the last leg of our tenure, we should not lose sight of the fact that we still have much business to do. I urge us not to be so absorbed by the politics of 2019 as to allow our legislative duties to suffer. We must utilize the available time judiciously to serve the country and our people to the best of our ability.
In another development, the House as plenary swore in Haruna Isa as member representing Lokoja Kotun-Karfe Federal Constituency of Kogi State, having been returned winner of the by-election. Before adjournment of Wednesday's plenary, the House announced the nomination of Representative Ahmed Idris Wase as Deputy House Leader, as well as the setting up of a technical committee to look into bills not assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And moving away from the National Assembly, President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is stepping up regulations on money laundering and tax evasion by releasing a new Executive Order Number 8 tagged Voluntary Offshore Asset Regulations Scheme for us. This took effect from Monday, 8 October 2018, signed by President Buhari. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, states that by this order, Nigerian taxpayers who hold offshore assets and incomes are expected to, within a period of 12 months, declare voluntarily those assets and pay taxes on them and expect certain specified benefits. President Buhari is optimistic that the new scheme will help to facilitate the expedient regularization of offshore assets connected to Nigeria and lead to a new expanded tax base for the federal government and also fund the Nigerian Infrastructure Fund in Switzerland. And just in case you're wondering if I still have more political reports, no, for now. We're moving to other issues. As children growing up, May 29 and October 1 were dates we looked forward to with much excitement and expectations. Children nowadays still look forward to May 29, that is, the Children and Youth Day celebration. But for a while now, we have not had any ceremony to excite the children and indeed Nigerians on October 1, our one and only national day. Not until this year, when the drums were rolled out and Nigerians and Nigerian children once again had a spectacular time. Now, as we were having a good time here, little did many of you know that Nigerians in the United States of America, especially in New York, were out doing us proud. Makut Simon Machan thrills us with the New York celebration.
For over 25 years in New York and other states in America, Nigerians have staged a parade to commemorate the independence of Nigeria, where they remember their motherland and celebrate her greatness. So successful has this become that the city of New York has granted them a rare privilege of staging this event despite the huge traffic concerns in Manhattan.
Nigeria definitely has challenges like every other nation, but for those who think Nigeria is not good enough, look behind me and you see Nigerians here in the city of New York celebrating Nigeria and being proud of their country.
This year's event, declared open by Nigeria's Consul General to New York, Ben Okoyen, lived up to expectations. Marching from the 54th Street on the 2nd Avenue through to the Nigerian Mission on 44th Street in Manhattan, the Nigerian color, culture and beauty was on display, much to the admiration of Americans and non-Americans alike.
Always friendly, always smiling, and always, participating in culture together. It's really great.
They are your friends forever. They're very honest and they're very business oriented.
And that New York City is welcoming and excited to have this community here. So I want more Nigerians.
Events later shifted to a park on 57th Street where Nigerian food, cultural items and music was again in abundance.
Because of who we are, anywhere we are given opportunity to show ourselves, we will always perform better than any other person on the surface of the earth.
The energy, vibrancy, creativity that have been shown today, especially by Nigerian youth, tells you Nigeria has, as ever, a great future.
Many young Nigerians described the event as another great opportunity for Nigeria to display its potentials and market itself internationally. From Manhattan in New York, Makut Simon Machan, NTA News.
That's Niger for you. Great love for flag and country. I had a great time with this group last year and there's nothing like it. On that thrilling note, let's take a break. When we come back, we will hear from Rogo on the missing general. Stay with us.
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now Everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is. Everyone will want you to.
ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Hello. Hi, Jenny. Can you supply 1,000 bottles of juice by noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Hello.
One day, I go any store and say I want everything.
Jenny, auntie, please, I need a loan.
One day, anything I want,
hurry up.
Get it times 2. Someday, I'll be living.
Hello.
Clean that up. Because I don't get the money, you downgrade me.
Your order is on the way.
Are you an entrepreneur looking for financing to grow a business? I have good news for you. Development Bank of Nigeria now provides sustainable financing through commercial banks, microfinance banks, and other financial institutions with repayment terms of up to 10 years. Please do remember, paying back your loan in good time will give you access to more loans.
Development Bank of Nigeria, financing sustainable growth.
His Royal Highness the Emir of Katsina and Chairman of Katsina State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Dr. Abdulmumin Kabir Usman, CFR, will inshallah turban Senator Ibrahim Ida as Sardaunan Katsina on 13th October 2018 at 11 a.m. Venue, Emir's Palace, Kangiwa, Katsina. This announcement serves as an invitation to all. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Hear this. Are you a politician? Are you involved in political communication or part of the civil society? This is for you.
The Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, in conjunction with the Advertising Practitioners Association Abuja Chapter, APAC, is holding a stakeholders forum on political communication. Theme, Ethical Advertising and Communication, a tool for enhancing peace and political stability.
Special guest of honor, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information and Culture. Date, Thursday, October 11, 2018. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja, Nigeria. Time, 10 a.m.
For inquiries, call Yalwa on 08035900078. Again, 08035900078.
Remember, we are all stakeholders in the Nigeria project. Be there. Signed, Mrs. Ijedi Ioha, Acting Registrar and CEO, APCON.
APCON, ensuring responsible advertising practice.
Their Eminences, Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sahad Abubakar, and Cardinal John Onaikon, Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, cordially invite the public to a 3-day interfaith conference on religious harmony in Nigeria towards the 2019 general elections. Date, 11th to 14th October 2018. Venue, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. Nigeria's President, Muhammadu Buhari, will address the conference, while the Right Honorable and Reverend Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, will deliver the keynote address. Alhaji Ibrahim Ejega, Chairman, and Reverend Father Robert Achiaga, Secretary, Planning Committee, announcers.
Can your milk do this?
Can your milk do this? Mine can.
With Hollandia evaporated milk, your ice cream, custards, and variations of beverages taste pleasantly different. Hollandia evaporated milk. Life tastes different.
From the House of Cheese.
The Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audits, Federal Ministry of Finance, announces the verification exercise of the ex-workers of Nigerian Airways Limited in liquidation, scheduled to hold in the following locations. The beneficiaries are expected to come along with the following documents to the center. 1. Letter of appointment, letter of confirmation, letter of last promotion, letter of retirement, NAL identity card, other means of identification, particulars of bank account, letter to be presented by next of kin in the case of deceased beneficiaries. Please note that beneficiaries will be subjected to biometric data capture. Beneficiaries should come along with copies of documents listed above for submission to the verification committee. Beneficiaries are to be captured in an orderly manner, hence, notice will be placed at the venue and specific date for capturing of each beneficiary will be indicated. Signed, MK Dikwa, Secretary, Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audits.
Thank you for staying with us on News Extra this Wednesday. For over a month, the community in Jos Plateau State has been in the national limelight. DO is at the heart of search and rescue efforts to find the whereabouts of the immediate past Chief of Army Administration Army, reported missing on his way to Bauchi since September 3rd. For now, DO is deserted, but the Army is urging residents to come back, even as the search efforts continue. Hamis Urogo has a situation report.
In the main town in the DO district, collectively, there are a community of over 300,000 people. They are all not here now. They abandoned their houses and their farmlands. Nobody drive them out, but then all of them are out. The people of DO abandoned home, apparently because of the clue the army is pursuing to unravel the mystery of its missing former head of administration, Major General Idris Al-Kali, retired. This old mining pond is at the center of it all. A special search and rescue task force for the missing general had intelligence report that this particular pond may hold some secret about the missing person. The task force resolved to drain it. The women of DO mobilized to stop them. On the face of their protest, the women said the pond is their only source of drinking water. As their protest advanced, they attached spiritual relevance to it too. They say the exercise may mean the death of their husbands and their children. Perhaps these fears led the whole community to flee. For the task force move ahead with their plan. So far, the pond is revealing its underbelly. 3 vehicles have so far been exhumed out of it, including the Toyota Corolla of General Al-Kali.
When the vehicle was brought out, with that, the medical were asked to check if his body was there. The people from Nigerian Army engineers also checked. Thereafter, the military police and the intelligence were also asked to check. And in it, they were able to find some of his personal effects, including his T-shirt with his name inscribed, I am Al-Kali. That happened on the 29th of September.
The task force feared that the women of DO may be protesting actually because they were afraid of what this outcome will bring. DO generally is a land of over 32 ponds, all water-laden. They were old and abandoned mine sites. Drinking water is definitely not an issue with this community, and certainly they do not rely only on this pond. In actual fact, the task force is urging the people to come back and be peaceful and law-abiding.
I've been appealing to the good and peace-loving people of Plateau to help us with information so that we can locate wherever he is, whether he's alive, so that he can reunite with his family, and if he's dead, they should show us where he is so that we can carry his body for proper and befitting burial in line with Army customs and tradition. And that's why we have been appealing to the people that they have nothing to fear. All they need to do is to support us so that we can round up this exercise quickly.
Apart from vehicles recovered, the search and rescue team said they do not rule out finding human remains too. They are yet to find one though. As they make headway in draining the pond, however, the exercise is halting for now. 2 things are happening. The sand that is an embankment to the pond is caving in, and fear is it may collapse into the pond, and that may mean damage to men, machine, and the investigation. More so, the sand is a thin bridge between this active pond and another like it. If it collapses, the water from this pond will empty at the pond where this exercise is taking place. In Jos, Mohammed Hamish Rogo, NTA News.
We hope that the search and rescue team will find the missing general. And for a bit on flood, the worst of the 2018 flood threat and scare is apparently over. Thankfully, Lagdo Dam did not add to our flood woes yet, and we still experience disasters across the Federation. Now, the worst is over as the water levels are fast receding, but don't celebrate yet. There is another emerging challenge. Onotu Yakub tells us from Lokoja, Kogi State, that the issue now is how to manage the post-flood hazards as victims return back home.
This was the plains of the rivers Niger and Benue 2 to 3 weeks ago, with high water volume resulting from the flooding of the two rivers. Today, residents of the flood-prone areas have heaved a sigh of relief as they return back to their homes to grapple with the challenges of daily living as the water recedes gradually. The measurement of the river presently stands at 10.67 meters as against 11.24 when the water was at its peak on the 20th of September.
This flood is a natural thing. You cannot avoid it. It's normal. So you advise those staying close to the river to stay away, to move out of such locations and go to a safer place.
The major worry now are the post-flood health hazards and other challenges to contend with as the victims make their way home.
I go back because of all this snake. I have to pick up fully the city all before you live here now.
What measures have you taken to make this place habitable?
Nothing, no. I don't even have money. I've spent a lot, so I don't have anything. It was washed with water.
Just water. Any other thing?
No.
Disaster managers, nonetheless, advised victims to be wary of food, health, and water impurities as they return home, as well as manage their environment with adequate sanitation. From Lokoja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Well, I told you not to celebrate yet about the country getting out of the flood disaster problems. NEMA has just declared a state of national flood disaster in 2 more states of Rivers and Bayelsa. NEMA Director General Mustafa Mehaja, who made the declaration in Abuja at a stakeholders meeting, said this is due to the level of devastation by flood in the states. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu says the stakeholders meeting is convened to review operations in states affected by flood with emphasis on deployment of more food staff and other facilities.
The meeting also identified some gaps in the interventions and recommended solutions, as well as suggested early preparations in tackling flooding. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Mehaja, thanked the stakeholders, including development partners, for the unrelenting support accorded the agency and promised to leave no stone unturned in tackling disaster-related matters.
So what we are now trying to do is to respond to the disaster, the needs of the people, the affected people, those really in need, and then provide their needs, and also thinking about if we can provide some basic shelters now, it will prevent them, particularly those in the villages, prevent them from going back to where they were. Some of the things we are trying to quickly do, something that can reduce the possible consequences of the next year's disaster if it should happen.
Some of the development partners and other stakeholders expressed their commitment in complementing the effort of NEMA in responding to disaster challenge.
Commendable response efforts and leadership. I also commend the various ministries who have, of course, taken ownership of their various ministries. I think this shows government leadership. This shows that NEMA is and is able to support this response.
NEMA had, in the wake of predictions of imminent flooding across the country, deployed 5 committees comprising stakeholders to visit frontline states for the purposes of evacuation, relocation, and disaster risk assessment. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Now let's move on to something more cheerful. It is not for nothing that he wears the toga of man of integrity. Obviously, he matches his words with action. The people of Jigawa State, especially date palm farmers, are set to reap from the pronouncement of President Buhari during his recent visit to the state. From Dutse, Abdullahi Garba Birnin Kudu is all eager to tell us about it.
For those who are familiar with Jigawa State, especially Dutse and Kiawa local governments, the state is blessed with abundant date palm for its hairy nature. But the concern is the traditional method of its farming, with little of its advantage being explored by these farmers.
If you go to the Arab countries, you find out that the date is actually a very valuable tree, not only for the culture, the economic, and even the religious aspect of it.
These were some of the issues raised by both the governor and the emir of Dutse when they hosted President Muhammad Buhari early this year, and of course, they sought for his intervention. It is now a good news as the president has directed Governor Muhammad Badar Abubakar to form a team on how to promote date palm farming as a revenue earner adding value to the economy. The emir of Dutse led a powerful team to Morocco, where date palm is like gold as an economic tree. In view of his health and other benefits, the state government has identified areas to tap from this fruit.
The varieties we are trying to bring to Jigawa State can give 300 kg and even more from a tree. In each tree, at least a farmer, on average can get up to 50,000 naira per tree, times 5. And I believe there are a lot of farmers in Nigeria that can plant an acre or a hectare or even more. If that is done because of the importance of this crop.
Behind me here is over 100 hectares of land where federal government established Date Palm Research Institute 40 years ago, which is another advantage to take in this quest to diversify the economy using this important date palm fruit. In Dutse, Jigawa State, Abdullahi Garba Bernokudu, NTA News.
Tell you what, agriculture is definitely setting the pace for other sectors of the economy to follow. Now, when agencies form partnerships that work, you can be sure that governance is improved and the governed are better for it. It is in furtherance of this that the NTA Abuja management says it will continue to explore new windows of opportunities with relevant agencies for better service delivery. The general manager of the station, Fumi Wakama, stated this when the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Ogun State, embarked on rehabilitation of the road that leads to the Ogbe office of the station. Let's hear the story as produced by Hakim Jimo.
The Ogun State Director, Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, Alexander Mazoya, embarked on a courtesy call on the management of NTA Abeokuta and promised to rehabilitate the roads that lead to the station. Little did NTA management know that it meant business. The roads that led to the Ogbe premises of the station and the Okegunya transmission site had long been in a sorry state, with portions of the road caving in. The state director of FEMA had fulfilled his promise with the deployment of manpower and materials for the rehabilitation work.
So we're grateful to them, we're very happy about it. Like Oliver Twist will always ask for more. Our Okeguya premises is still there, needs a lot of attention. We appreciate His Excellency, he's been here. He has promised that he's going to come and repair the road for us. But presently, well, the political climate has not allowed him to give us the attention that we require. I know that he'll come. He has promised us and he will come.
Bello Kamaru is a senior technical assistant of FEMA Ogun State that supervised the rehabilitation work.
We look at your road and what FEMA is doing just to make the Nigerian road more tolerable. So that is why we are here today, that we want you to have a very good driving.
Some residents could not but express their appreciation to NTA and FEMA.
I am so happy and grateful, being that the road is now smooth.
Meanwhile, officers of the agency were also seen rehabilitating the Asheru Obantoko Road.
Now that's what you get when you learn to network and partner with relevant agencies. NTA is benefiting from it and neighboring communities are also benefiting. My knowledge of biology tells me that shelter is one of the basic needs of human beings. So let's all agree that housing is one indispensable need which must be fulfilled. It is in line with this reality that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has rallied the support of trade unions to actualize and deliver 1,400 housing units in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country under the National Affordable Housing Delivery to Nigerian workers. Tessie Omeri says Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura who performed the groundbreaking ceremony of 100 units for Nasarawa State, is full of commendations for the government.
The housing estate is situated along the new Lafia-Kwandere Kefi Road as part of government's initiative to open up the area. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is leading the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, and Nigerian Employers Consultative Association on the initiative which has been brought to fruition under President Buhari's administration. The total of 1,400 units of houses will be shared across the 6 geopolitical zones in a mix of 3, 2 and 1 bedroom. The government of Nasarawa State is supporting the initiative with the donation of 5 hectares piece of land with additional 5 more hectares for the expansion of other facilities.
And I have also accepted to sponsor the stepping down of the high tension line so that this estate will get the power almost immediately.
Managing Director of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Ahmed Dengiwa, says each unit will cost between 3 to 8 million naira to be payable within the period of 30 years at 6% interest rates.
Each zone will have 200 houses with 100 units in 2 selected states. Abuja and Lagos are to be treated as special sites.
This is a very laudable project that will touch the life of many Nigerian workers and their families.
Upon completion of the project, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is to provide loans through selected primary mortgage banks to workers in order to enable them acquire the houses. In Lafia, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
So far, so good. Let's take a break again. Some business news and business-related stories coming up shortly. Don't go away.
You in the air-conditioned office with the itchy throat, Strepsils. Girl in the spotlight with the raspy throat, Strepsils. You in the pollution, it's you, dry throat, Strepsils. Hello in the downpour with the scratchy throat, take Strepsils.
Strepsils, with its soothing medicinal ingredients, will heal the harm done to your throat from external factors.
Strepsils! Strepsils!
Strepsils, for a dry, itchy, raspy, scratchy throat.
Helen! Your kitchen gets 10 out of 10. Thank you. This also gets a 10. Should we see the toilet now? Sure. This gets just 1.
It is clean.
But not perfect 10.
Better than my detergent and bleach? Impossible.
Challenge? Try the new Apic 10X.
Compared to bleach and detergent, Apic sticker formulation removes yellow stains times better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow.
Now you also take that?
Apic 10X challenge.
Also available in 200 ml pack.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
We thank you very much for staying with us on News Extra. Consolidating on Nigeria's economic gain through the non-oil sector has been identified as a panacea to IMF projection as experts advocate government framework to accommodate private capital into infrastructure development in the country. Let's join Abolade Salami for details of this and more on our Business News segment. We sincerely apologize for that mix-up. Moving on now, still talking business, commercial and business activities remain grounded at the Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2 due to the strike embarked upon by protesting aviation unions. Now, this disrupted flight operations from the airport today, leaving many passengers stranded. Here's Michael Olaleye with the report.
Protesting aviation union workers, they sealed up the Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2 to press home their demand that the operator reserves 20 workers who were allegedly sacked for trying to unionize. They grounded all operation at the usually busy domestic airline terminal, where about 5 airlines fly from every day to destinations across the country. By afternoon, the terminal was almost desolate and the unions remained on ground.
We enthused with passengers who had planned, who had bought tickets and willing to travel out of this terminal building. We also wish to sympathize with the airline operators who are operating from here and the concessionaires here. They have no fault in this matter.
This is just one of the 3 terminals that has been grounded, so there are alternatives. We encourage airlines and travelers to utilize the other terminals. We even encourage the airlines. They can set up processes even at the international airport to operate their local flights because we don't have any issues with them.
The operator of the Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 2 released documents indicating that the matter is already before the courts. Normal flights were operated at the General Aviation Terminal and the international wing of the Murtala Mohammed Airport. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Nigeria is considering the possibility of increasing her shareholdings in the Africa Export-Import Bank as the initiative to boost intra-Africa trade grows stronger. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed, after meeting with the board of the bank in Bali, Indonesia, said Nigeria is working with the bank to put in place world-class health facilities across the country. Finance and economy correspondent Leah Katung Babatunde completes the story.
Part of the things we discuss is the possibility of increasing our shareholding, and also we discuss some of the programs and projects that Afrexim is supporting in Nigeria. Afrexim has a very large portfolio in Nigeria. About 40% of their portfolio of the bank is Nigeria, with support to the government but largely to the private sector.
The private sector support is with a view to reinforce the collective belief that African economic liberation could only be realized by and within the African continent. Trade agreement and marketing issues have been the push factors of slow growth in Africa. With abundant untapped resources and opportunities, Nigeria is leveraging on the facilities of the Africa Export-Import Bank to improve her social indices.
Other things we discuss includes setting up a medical park in the FCT, which is still a discussion that has been going on for quite a long time. There's also some quality assurance centers in Ogun and also in other parts of the country. We also discuss the issue of setting up some industrial parks in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment in 3 centers, Lekki, Kano, and also one in Kaduna.
We are supporting virtually all the banks in Nigeria in terms of the lines of credit to be able to do import and export and support SMEs. We also pursuing other what I would call impactful initiatives. We are finalizing arrangements to begin developing a center of excellence for healthcare, because we want to see how we can begin to promote medical tourism in Nigeria. We want to develop a center that will make it possible for Nigeria to have facilities to take care of complex diseases in oncology, in hematology, cardiovascular, and other complex diseases.
Nigeria is the 3rd largest shareholder of the bank. In Bali, Indonesia, I'm Leah Kating Babatunde, NTA News.
Now, for societies to function effectively, the need to shun all forms of financial crimes and corruption cannot be overemphasized. Little wonder the present administration under President Muhammadu Buhari is going all out in this fight to place Nigeria's economy on the right pedestal. It is against this backdrop that the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, chose accountability and transparency as its key focus during this year's annual conference of certified national accountants in Abuja. Chimaubi Walter Naji has the details.
Conference, which is the 23rd in the series for certified national accountants, is a forum where certified accountants yearly take stock of their association's activities over the year. For this year's event, with the theme Economic Recovery and Growth, Issues and Options, the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, while declaring the event open, charged participants to improve on the successes recorded by the Economic and Recovery Growth Plan policy of the federal government to ensure a sustainable financial structure for the nation.
I am confident that presentations and deliberations during this conference would unearth additional insights and ideas that can impact positively on our national economic development.
The President Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, Sheikh Usman Ladan, and other speakers said the theme of this year's event is apt as the nation is coming out of its worst recession in the last 2 decades. He said the aim is to equip accounting officers with requisite information to ensure a prudent financial management system.
Indeed, to achieve a stable economic recovery, we must sustain our democracy, and every effort must be geared towards preventing commercialization of the democratic process, and laws enacted in that regard must be implemented to the letter.
The accountants have a great role to play in economic recovery because when they block off everywhere, there are leakages, there will be a growth.
The event brought together stakeholders in the financial sector, including representatives of the Finance Minister, Zainab Ahmed, among others. In Abuja, Chimubi Walter Naji, NTA News.
Peter Ngene of the Utrecht University in the Netherlands has emerged winner of the $100,000 NLNG prize for the 2018 Nigeria Science Competition. Chairman of the Advisory Board for Science, Professor Alfred Susu, announced this at a news conference in Lagos. Nerod Nina Musa reports.
Advisory Board for Science, Professor Alfred Susu, said the 2018 Nigeria Prize for Science, which was keenly contested by 84 entries, gave the judges a hard time in the evaluation process. The nano-structured metal hydrides for the storage of electric power from renewable energy sources and for explosion prevention in a high-voltage power transformer was adjudged the best. It was by Dr. Peter Ngene, an assistant professor in the Inorganic Chemistry and Catalysis Group of the Debye Institute for Nanomaterial Science, Utrecht University in the Netherlands.
The thrust of the winning work by Dr. Ngene is the development of a technique for the synthesis of nanostructured composite materials used as solid-state electrolytes in batteries to the effectiveness and efficiency of utilization of alternative energy sources.
Manager, Corporate Communications and Public Affairs, NLNG, Andy Ode, says the innovation by Dr. Ngene is an opportunity to secure a niche market in Nigeria for energy storage.
What do you now do as a businessman or a businesswoman to support that work to make it more available, either publicly or make it more economical?
Members of the panel and Prize Advisory Board all agreed that the work contributes to surmounting challenges in Nigeria around power transformers and explosions due to degradation of insulators in the transformers. The theme for next year's competition is climate change, erosion, drought, and desertification. Organizers instruct that while the entries for the competition are not limited to Nigerians alone, the problem to be addressed must be peculiar to Nigeria. In Lagos, Nerut Nina Musa, NTA News.
Congratulations to Peter Ngene. Now, if your child is out of school, you might want to know what northern traditional rulers are doing about it, plus some health news. Don't miss out.
When it comes to 30,000 naira, 30,000 naira to somebody is a million naira.
I just applied online. I did not know anybody.
I'm under carpenting. I was given saw, bar, tenant saw, hammer.
Federal government is able to mobilize me by giving me one iPad to aid me in carrying out my exercise.
So the money that was given to me, I was able to establish some little farm, and this building we are
that have actually helped me to put the money together and been able to service people.
My thanks goes to the President, President Muhammadu Buhari, for this thing that he has done for the youth of Nigeria. So we are grateful.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three put
You are welcome, sir.
as usual. Yeah. I was.
You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have. You don't have.
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice.
Are you sorry?
That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. Let them stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
It's still News Extra on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we thank you for staying with us. The aggregation of ideas to forge a new approach towards tackling the phenomenon of out-of-school children in the North has begun. This is at a two-day conference by Northern traditional rulers holding in Kaduna. Abdullahi Muhammad has the details.
It has become a common occurrence to see young boys of school age like Abba roaming the street or hawking in different parts of the North. In fact, studies have shown that 10.5 to 13 million children are out of school in this part of the country.
It is on the basis of these alarming numbers that emanates from researches carried out to ascertain the level of out-of-school children in the North that these traditional rulers put together the conference. The Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Saad Abubakar III, went memory lane to put forward the breakthroughs of the Sokoto Caliphate and other northern scholars in the propagation of education even before the advent of Western form of education.
The founders of the Sokoto Caliphate, who between the three of them authored over 300 books on all subjects, including astronomy, medicine, that their children are no longer keen in learning fiqh and tafsir, and neither they are interested in mathematics and engineering.
Despite this, northern Nigeria has continued to lag behind in enrollment into schools that teach Western education. Among the scholars sharing ideas on the way forward is Professor Salisu Shehu of Bayero University, Kano. He suggested the inclusion of Western education in the Almajiri and Tsangaya school system as a means of stimulating school enrollment.
Initiate a process of dialogue and to strengthen it, and that would lead to integration.
Consequence of this concern, the Ministerial Strategic Plan, MSP of the Federal Ministry of Education, has also taken up the issue of out-of-school children as its first pillar.
There are going to be workable recommendations, things we can actually go out in the field and actualize.
The traditional rulers are expected to sign a document of commitment towards influencing communities, households, and religious leaders to embrace Western education. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
It is heartwarming to know that traditional rulers are leading the way in this direction, because you can't get it wrong with an educated society. Now, knowledge, we all agree, is power. So, a constant update of one's intellectual understanding, especially in this era of technological advancement, can only enhance one's efficiency and competence in a chosen field. This exactly is what nurses in the operating room known as perioperative nurses are doing at their 18th annual scientific conference. Chimdima Ndubisi, who has been rubbing shoulders with them at the conference, says they are brushing up their skills in pre- and post-surgical periods. All this to improve healthcare delivery. Chimdima tells us more.
Perioperative nurses are those that take care of patients before, during, and after surgery. They also work closely with surgeons in theaters.
Ekben Sunday has been a practicing perioperative nurse for more than 20 years now. He says with modern technology, a lot has changed in surgical medicine.
We've grown from manual equipment to digital equipment. We've grown from the normal open surgeries where you have to cut open and open to minimal invasive surgeries where you use just a keyhole to do big surgeries.
Therefore, these nursing specialists from across the country are here to get updates on emerging trends in contemporary nursing for optimal patient treatment and recovery.
If you get the right knowledge and you stand in as surgeon assistant, you don't wait for the surgeon to dictate tools for you. You're there because one of the qualities of a perioperative nurse is anticipate the need of the surgical team and give them what they need in advance of time. We want to know the patient oxygen saturation, to take their pulse, everything ought to be done with the technological devices. Laparoscopic, endoscopy, all those things they need to lay their hands on and know how to operate it.
For an investigative procedure, you are doing laparoscopy, you want to maybe look at the tubes, you want to see if the tubes are blocked or patent. How you will set your instruments for the procedure is not the same way like you will set your instruments for a major procedure.
Our 2-year training with 2,400 hours of experience in a theater and scaling through the voluntary certification examination are said to be qualifications for perioperative nurses. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Helping young people build mental resilience from an early age to enable them cope with the challenge of modern-day world is important to building a healthy and crime-free society. This was the crux of messages at a forum organized by the United Nations Information Center to mark the 2018 World Health Day. Joy Ken Agbakoya has details.
Adolescence and the early years of adulthood are periods when many changes occur. While these changes can be exciting for some young people, for others it can be a time of apprehension and stress. If not recognized and promptly managed, this crucial stage of life could lead to mental illness.
I knew maths more than the other person, so they're making fun of me that I was a bookworm, one of those.
The expanding use of technologies, increase in conflicts, natural disasters, and epidemic also bring additional pressure and make young people vulnerable to mental distress and illness. This is why the 2018 World Mental Health Day is focused on building resilience among teenagers and youths.
There are triggers. There are so many triggers of mental illness around young people. So we need to identify them, we need to know them, we need to address them.
Medical experts at this event say half of mental health conditions begin at age 14. They emphasize that poor mental health during adolescence impacts educational achievement and increases the risk of alcohol and substance use. In spite of this, however, their submission shows that mental illness can be prevented.
And for us, we're also trying to create information about where people can seek for help. A lot of time before now, there's been a lot of stigma for people suffering mental illness. And so when they hear of somewhere they can get help from, they're very reluctant to go.
WHO is advocating for building up institutions that will help these children to speak out when they have problems and also how to manage these cases.
Stakeholders at this forum say if the United Nations 2030 agenda of reducing discrimination and increasing support for people with mental illness is to be achieved, more awareness campaign on mental health issues is required. In Lagos, Joyken Abapuya, NTA News.
Indeed, awareness is the way out. Now, there is a saying that if a bird has learned to fly without perching, the hunters must also learn to shoot without stopping. That's what is playing out as representatives of government, security and financial agencies met in Abuja for a sensitization seminar on cybercrime, fraud, money laundering and security consciousness. The seminar was organized by the National Orientation Agency in collaboration with Avant Gabon International Business Projects Limited. Musbao Danwahab has the details.
Internet evolution continues to engulf the world, eliminating barriers of distance and time, while also enhancing socio-economic lives of the people globally. But then, also overwhelming is the volume of the crimes going on in the cyberspace.
The contention that annually Nigeria loses over 120 billion naira through cyber fraud. The overall effect on the GDP is put at about 0.08%. Internet fraud threatens the trust required for business to thrive.
Still, more worries ahead, as it is predicted that businesses around the world will lose about $2 trillion by 2019, and Nigeria apparently would not be spared. So, this gathering is for security and financial agencies to step up efforts and synchronize towards a common direction of combating cybercrime, fraud and money laundering, while also raising security consciousness. But they say this effort must begin with individuals through personal measures and adherence to security tips.
Most crimes are successful because the victims did not pay enough attention to the warning signs. People feel that security is solely government's responsibility.
While highlighting roles of auditors and the media, speakers also call for passage of relevant bill and implementation of the existing laws to fight the organized crimes.
I feel this topic is apt and has come at the right time when this administration of President Muhammad Buhari is waging an all-out war against corruption.
The National Assembly should do Nigeria very good by passing the whistleblowing bill into law, more especially because it provides for protection for whistleblowers.
We have limited resources in Nigeria, so we can't afford to allow cybercrime to feast on the limited resources we have.
Part of the charges here is that as fraudsters continue to grow in tactics, financial and security agencies as well must be ahead by evolving strategies to checkmate them. In Abuja, Musbao Danwahab, NTA News.
Hope we're still on the same page on the program. For me, it's been truly extra, so don't abandon me now. Let's cruise to the end together. It's sports news and tomorrow's weather prospects, which I know you want to know.
Death has been announced of Professor Tony Adam Edo, age 70.